Welcome to the Explainer. So, today we're going to dig into a blueprint for building better online spaces. We're talking about communities that are actually designed to last, not just to, grab your attention for a second and then disappear.
All right, let's start with the feeling I bet you know really well. You're just scrolling through your social feed and it all just feels so chaotic, right? Totally disconnected. It's kind of like being at a party where everyone's shouting, but absolutely nobody is listening. So, what's the deal? Is this just how the internet is, or is there maybe a massive design flaw at the very core of it all?
Well, it turns out the issue really comes down to the model itself. So many of the platforms we use are built for what you see on the left side here. Total algorithmic chaos, right? They're designed to hijack your attention, and whoever shouts the loudest with the most content wins. But what if there was another way? Just look at the alternative on the right. We're talking about a model built on architectural coherence, intentional connection, and creating real, lasting value. And the amazing thing is, this isn't some fantasy. It's a real, deliberate design choice we can make.
Okay, so to really get a handle on this new model, we first have to be brutally honest about why our current digital town squares just, well, they fail us so often. And here's the kicker. It's not because of the people. It's because of the very architecture they're all forced to live inside.
Yeah, and this is the key insight, really. These common failures, they're not bugs. They are features of a system that's designed to do one thing: maximize engagement at any cost. So what happens? Conversations get scattered all over the place, context gets completely lost, and as a community gets bigger, all the meaning just collapses under the weight of it all. In this model, let's be real, we're not participants. We're just users whose attention is being harvested. So that all sounds pretty bleak, right? What's the alternative? Well, let's dive into this blueprint for something called coherence. It's all built on one single, really powerful idea. And this is where we stop just reacting to a broken system and start proactively building a much, much better one. And that big, powerful idea? It's coherence. The best way to think about it is like a healthy forest. It's super complex, it's incredibly diverse, but it all just works together. It holds together. Coherence is basically a community's ability to do the exact same thing, to grow, to get more complex, but without just fragmenting into a bunch of random, chaotic noise. This quote right here really nails the mindset shift we're talking about. Forget move fast and break things. The new rule is coherence before scale. In other words, growth is only a good thing if the whole system, the whole community, still makes sense to the people inside it. If adding more members just makes everything more confusing, then guess what? That's not success. That's a design failure. But okay, a system like this doesn't just magically run itself on code. No way. It needs a totally new kind of human leadership, a role that's so much bigger than just being a moderator. You need an architect. And this is where we meet the steward of coherence. Now, this is not your typical manager who's just dictating rules from on high, and it's not just a moderator deleting spam. This person is a host. Their entire job is to create and maintain the conditions for a healthy, vibrant community to grow and emerge on its own. Their authority doesn't come from a place of power or control. It's all about protecting the shared space, the commons, so that everyone in it can truly thrive. So what does a steward actually do day to day? Well, they're busy. They maintain clear boundaries, which is how you create a safe space. They're constantly curating what's relevant, connecting ideas and people in a way that an algorithm just can't. They actively encourage what's called cross-pollination between different conversations and groups. And, this one's huge, they deal with disruption head-on to protect the health of the entire ecosystem. Oh, and they're not afraid to say no when they have to. Okay, so this is all starting to make sense, right? We've got the core principle, coherence. We've got the key person, the steward. But how do you actually build the thing? What does this architecture look like in the real world? It all comes down to 4 key pillars. First up, you have bounded spaces. Just think of these as private, focused rooms that cut down on the noise and create a real sense of safety. Second, you have something called living threads, and we'll get into those in just a sec. They're super important. Third, and this is a big one, any cross-pollination, connecting ideas between different spaces, is done by the human stewards, not some random algorithm. They can see connections a machine would totally miss. And finally, number 4, local nodes. This lets people connect based on where they actually live, grounding this whole digital community back in the real world. It can even lead to people meeting up in person. Okay, so that idea of living threads, this is an absolute game changer. Think about a normal social media post on, say, Facebook. It's disposable, right? It gets buried by the algorithm within a few hours. It's just fragmented chatter. But a living thread is the complete opposite. It's treated like a valuable community asset. It's built to last, to be durable. It can evolve and grow over weeks, months, even years. It literally becomes a living archive of the community's shared knowledge and wisdom. All right, let's pull all these threads together. What's the big takeaway here? What does this massive shift in thinking really mean for how we build and, just take part in online communities from now on? The ultimate test for one of these communities, the real litmus test, is how legible it is. That means at any given moment, any member should be able to easily answer three really simple questions. Where am I? Why am I here? And who are all these other people? Who is this for? If the answers to those questions are even a little bit fuzzy, coherence is already starting to break down. And that really brings us to the most important point of all. We can actually stop just accepting the chaotic mess that algorithms serve up to us. The future of community isn't accidental. It's about deliberate, thoughtful design. And think bigger. It's about building an entire ecosystem where lots of different hosts and their communities can collaborate and connect with each other, all supported by this shared, coherent architecture. It stops being just a random collection of individuals and becomes a true collective.
So all of this leaves us with one final big thought. So often, we feel pretty powerless online, don't we? Like we're just passively scrolling through whatever gets fed to us. But this whole blueprint, it suggests we actually have agency. We have a choice. So the real question is for you. Are we ready to start designing the communities we actually want to live in instead of just endlessly scrolling through the ones we've been handed?